I might be remembering incorrectly, but where is the on-off switch for a...
Oh, it's the clitoris. Hi, I'm Allan.
And I'm Russell.
And this is Popculture Pontification.
A show where we talk about topics.
No, yep, okay. I left a gap there because I thought you were going to lead into something.
No.
Topics such as so-and-so.
No, I'm fresh out.
You're fresh out?
Yeah.
There's 27 episodes in. It's not even, 23 episodes in because you missed about 4 weeks.
Well, this is like at least 30 seconds already, so I'm sure iTunes will accept it.
That's true.
As an episode.
No, yeah, I mean, that counts.
Yeah. We're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this, feel free to come back.
Best show ever.
Best show, yeah. So many views because people are like, oh, what's up with this 30-second clip?
I'll try downloading it again. You cracked it.
Yeah, there's been an error with the download. Okay, but if it's remarkably echoey on the podcast today, I apologize because we're still in my old house. My old apartment. And
when none of your stuff is here.
When none of my stuff is. Well, next to none of my stuff. It's very empty at the moment. I don't know if that's creating like a weird echo or anything like that. So hopefully not.
You'll find out on the edit.
Yes, at which point we'll have to re-record it. The entire thing word for word. Yeah, that's what everybody wants to do. So I am moving. And that's what I've been doing all week. That and watching a lot of Daredevil. Because you gave me the entire season to watch.
Yes, I gave you the second season.
You gave me the second season to watch. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
So I haven't had a lot of time for other stuff. The only thing relatively recent that I've been doing pop culture wise is that there was a expansion released for Fallout 4.
The robot expansion?
Not the robot expansion. The
survival mode?
No, well, yes, that is part of what's been released.
Okay.
No. The I forget the name of it. Where the settlements have got like a whole bunch of new stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like you can make stuff out of concrete now, and there's like a whole bunch of other stuff that's been added for like settlements and all that sort of stuff. There's a name for it, but I can't remember it. It's not important. If you're into Fallout 4, you know what I'm talking about. Except for Russell, who has no idea what I'm talking about.
If you're not, you've already turned up.
You've already tuned up. Yeah, and you'll tune back in a couple of minutes when I'm done talking about this. And yeah, so I installed that. It was like $5 for like all these like stuff. And people are like complaining that, oh, this is just stuff that's been released in like mods already for free and stuff. Why would I bother paying like $5 for it? To which I say, go fuck yourself. If you don't have to buy the bloody thing.
No, you don't.
And I'm sure none of the assets were taken from mods. Like I don't see like was it Bethesda?
Yeah.
I don't see them like going into the mod community and just taking it without permission.
They may have stuck something in the terms of use for uploading your mods, is that you sign over all rights to them.
I mean, it's possible. I don't really understand how mods work via Steam. I mean, I'm sure it's just something you install in the game directory on your computer. But
I imagine so. Didn't you play Skyrim?
Yeah, but I never modded it.
Really?
Yeah.
I played the whole point of Skyrim was to like hang out with your friends as like naked furry monsters.
Like what you do in your own time, Russell, is none of my concern. No, I played it when it first came out, so there wasn't any mods when I first started playing it.
Oh, okay.
And then I just got like 80 hours in, do what I usually do, get a bunch of hours in, get bored, and then go play something else. And never finish the main storyline. Which is exactly what I've done in Fallout 4. I have no idea how it ends.
I have no idea how it starts. Well, actually I do, because you are forced to play until your baby gets kidnapped.
It's true, yes.
And then you get out, and you have to find your baby. Wait, no, there's all this other stuff to do.
That's true, yes. You gotta ingratiate yourself with everybody before you go and try to find your child.
Doing a endless series of randomly generated quests.
Yeah, miscellaneous.
They just keep generating.
That's true. But the stuff they've released for Fallout, in the DLC, mini DLC for the settlements and all that sort of stuff, it's actually really interesting. There's like a whole bunch of stuff added in, like lights, and I'm not going to go into all of it because it's remarkably boring if you're not interested in it. But
can you build a Ferris wheel?
I mean, if you wanted to, maybe. If you're really good, you can probably build something that resembles a Ferris wheel, whether it'll actually work or not. But yeah, it's interesting. I haven't had a huge amount of time to play around with it, and it was released like a week or two ago, so it's not exactly super relevant information. But for $5, yeah, it was worth $5.
Cool.
Not that I can buy anything on Steam nowadays anyway, or pay half of my bills because my credit card was stolen.
Yes, it was.
It's been remarkably frustrating. Seems to somebody pinched my credit card or somehow got hold of my credit card information.
Mm-hmm.
So probably from here, where I'm currently living. So I can't wait to move out of this place. Which happened to take place so recently, so close to me not being here.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened to happen like right before like 3 bills tried to come out of my credit card.
Oh, lucky you.
So that's been a whole mess of frustration.
What did they buy anyway?
They went to like a hardware store and bought like $400 worth of stuff.
Weird.
Which is weird. I can't remember the name of the place, but it's like a... No, sorry, I'm talking out my ass. It was like a menswear store.
Oh, okay.
And they bought like $400 worth of menswear store stuff.
Right.
And it was just like...
You gotta look good, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're a thief. You piece of shit. You gotta look good.
I was gonna say, is there like anyone doing renovations around here?
No. But I caught it. I caught it super early. It was like after 2 purchases had been made. I came home and checked my accounts. And I was like, that's weird. I don't remember owing that much on my credit card. And then, which was the last time it got stolen. When I was here. I didn't catch it until like a week later.
Right.
At which point there was like negative $20 on my credit card as opposed to positive whatever amount was on there. So yeah, after my credit card's stolen, I still stayed here. So there you go. So I'm an idiot.
Thankfully your lease is up, so...
My lease is up, yes.
You can escape.
I can escape.
To safer pastures.
What have you been up to, Russell? How are you doing? Like, I'm moving and my credit card's gotten stolen. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yep, alright, moving on.
I don't have anything to report in my personal life.
Okay.
So, pop culture wise,
Right.
I have been watching season 2 of the Netflix exclusive
Is it Daredevil? Is that what you're going to say?
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, is that out?
Yeah.
God damn it. I didn't even notice.
I didn't know that you'd watched the first season.
I did. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. The second season, watched the first 10 or so. It's
How many
more of the same.
episodes are there in the season?
I wouldn't hazard a guess.
Okay.
Probably the same number as there was in the first season.
There's usually... Because Netflix does like a real middle ground between what British TV does and standard American TV does. Because British TV is like 6 episodes. Yeah, you're good. 6 episodes. Be happy. We'll get back to you in like a year and a half.
Well, Luther, you get 4 episodes.
With Sherlock, you got 3.
Yeah.
But they were like hour and a half episodes, so acceptable. But American TV is like, what's that? 25 episodes. There you go. Have fun with that. One a week.
You could safely skip like 9 of them and still
get a
follow
rough
the plot
idea
perfectly, but you know, 25 episodes.
Netflix seems to just go right in like a middle ground. It's usually about 13 episodes, 12 to 13 episodes.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
You don't have to put in too many fillers.
It's enough where you can binge watch it all and not die on your couch.
Well,
of like starvation or like bladder explosion or something like that. So you're about 10 episodes in.
Yes, and I think the main reason I watch it
is because you got a massive crush on the big black gay guy.
No.
Okay.
Because I love the theme song so damn much.
Is it the same theme song from the first one still?
It's incredibly catchy.
It is very catchy.
And so every time an episode finishes, I think, well, I could go and do something else. Or I could just hang around for a few minutes and listen to the theme song again. And then by the time that's happened, you know, you're already watching the next episode. So
You've already committed.
Yeah.
You've already committed. Netflix does that thing where it's an episode ends and it's like, you have 10 seconds until we play the next one.
You're like, no, you're trying to resist, but
it's too late. It's 10 seconds up.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck here.
You're locked in for the next hour.
But the first season of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt was very entertaining.
Yes, so for those who haven't watched it, it centers on the...
Titular character?
Yes.
Very, not very often I get to use the phrase titular. So thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah. Kimmy, who was kidnapped as a child and raised...
Teenager.
Under 18 as a child.
I disagree.
Okay, the law doesn't.
It just sounds, when you say like kidnapped as a child, it makes it sound like she was 5 or something. She was not. She was like in high school.
Yeah, she's still a child.
Okay, it was just a weird way of phrasing it, Russell. Kidnapped as a child makes it seem like the guy was a super creepy pedophile.
He was a super creepy pedophile.
Well, yes, but less so than if she was like 5.
Okay, let's not get into
the
of creepiness.
Yeah, okay, moving on.
So she's kidnapped and taken to an apocalypse bunker.
Correct.
By...
He was a preacher, I think?
Yeah, Reverend...
I don't know if he was like with any particular church. He was like one of those evangelists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played by John Hamm, who's like...
He was the guy from Mad Men, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sex symbol, heartthrob guy.
Dude with a massive cock, I've heard.
Right, I'll take your word for that.
Yes.
And eventually she and her fellow... What is the word I'm looking for?
Kidnappees.
Kidnappees. Her fellow captives. Yeah,
that'll do it.
Are released. They're saved at the start of the first episode. And then
Correct.
She moves to New York and tries to get on with her life, having missed the last 10 years of
10
the
years
world,
or so, yeah.
basically. And so there's lots of 90s references because that's her what she remembers from before the bunker. Which
is great for us because that's right in the nostalgia wheelhouse right there.
That's probably the point.
Really appeals to the 24 to 35-year-olds.
Yes. Which is a key demographic.
That's true, yes.
Anyway, she's like irrepressibly cheerful and happy all of the time, even though...
That's correct. And there's like, it's a big point that the guy who kidnapped her couldn't break her spirit.
Yeah, because she's unbreakable.
She's unbreakable, yeah.
So the second season...
She's a great Bruce Willis film.
Yes.
Unbreakable.
Yeah. It's a sitcom, so the plot doesn't exactly advance or anything.
Well, there was like a climax in the first season. There was like a trial and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's not referred to in...
Oh no, that's just the end of it.
No, they just carry on.
There's this big trial where everybody gets arrested and stuff. The bad guy gets caught and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
No,
and she has to go back to her hometown and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, because he's so charming that he just...
Yeah, he shaves his beard off and everybody's like, "Well, Governor, I do declare that I can have no repercussions occur to me because of the terrible things that I supposedly did." And it's like, oh, he's so charming and handsome. Of course he gets away with it.
So it's still good, enjoyable, funny.
Just the same sort of stuff.
It focuses quite a bit on, what's her name? The rich lady.
Oh, the guy who used to be in 30 Rock.
Who? What?
The blonde chick. The wife. The one who's like actually a Native American.
Yeah. I haven't seen 30 Rock, so I didn't know.
Oh, she was one of the vapid characters, one of the vapid popular TV stars on 30 Rock.
Right. That makes sense because it's created by Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Anyway, it focuses quite a lot on her because she's divorced from her rich husband.
That's correct, yes.
And she's trying to re-establish herself in New York society without all of his money and connections.
Okay.
And so forth.
Well, that's mixing it up a bit.
Yeah, it's good. And my favourite new character, probably the best character in the show, is one of her friends/rivals in that community who is like a trophy wife, but she's super intelligent. And the only way she can feel anything is if like somebody's competing against her, but no one's smart enough to. So she needs this other woman too.
This woman speaks to me. This is exactly what I'm like.
And she's literally insane, but she...
Okay, less like me then.
She conceals it just barely in a hilarious fashion. So, you should definitely give that a look after Daredevil 2.
Yes. Oh, not the... maybe I've already watched it.
Maybe you have. That's what I mean. You know, immediately after this podcast, when we talk about Season 2 of Daredevil.
There you go. Well, it's not immediately after this podcast, Russell. It's right at the end of this podcast.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to know that the second season of that's out, because I'll give that a look as well. Because I was a big fan of the first season. It made me laugh many a times.
Oh, good.
Now, I have a question for you, Russell.
Uh-oh.
What do you, like, yeah, you're fired. Get out.
Where were you on the night of the 14th?
I've always said it, where were you on the night of the 5th?
The 5th?
Yeah, where were you on the night of the 5th?
I guess it's a bit punchier.
And it's just like from one of those old Gumshoe movies. I was like, where were you on the night of the 5th?
Is it already the 5th? How do you know it was on the 14th?
No, it's not. It's just the way I've always said it. This isn't important.
What was your question?
My question is, did you ever watch something called AMV Hell? Does that ring a bell for you?
Yes, I think I saw one of them. It was like a string of short AMVs that was
Yes.
stuck together, and then anime
music videos. Yes, quite often humorous little skits.
Yeah.
Basically, and I was like tidying up my hard drive and all that sort of stuff, and I found them.
Okay.
There's like 6 of them.
Right. I saw number 3, I believe.
Which is AMV Hell the movie, because it was like an hour long.
Yeah, it was quite long.
Yes.
I remember it's a scene where what's his name from Cowboy Bebop dies, and he sings "I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight." It's pretty funny.
Oh, the chick dies.
Yeah.
Not the guy.
Was it a chick?
It was when she gets shot.
Yeah.
And she crumbles into his arms, and it's like, and I
Yeah.
just died in your arms. It was very funny.
That's the one.
There's a lot of very funny stuff. It's still out there. It's still on the internet. But I downloaded a copy of it because it was just free to download off their website back in the day. And I was like looking through my hard drive, like trying to clear up some space, just to organize things. And
Well, you're moving house, you don't want to have to drag all those files over.
you got to have a clean. You got to really tidy up that file area. And also, I just saw this really like AMV Anime's Got Talent, which is something.
Oh yeah, you put that up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I saw that on the internet, and I was like, oh, anime music videos.
Facebook.com/popculturepon.
That's correct. Yes, it was actually very entertaining. It was very well done as well.
Yeah,
the Anime's Got Talent, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to watch like anime music videos back in the day, and I made me go look through all like my old stuff I downloaded onto my hard drive and all that sort of stuff, and I saw AMV Hell, so I was like, oh, I remember that, so I watched it, and it's good. It holds up quite well. Mm-hmm. It's still very funny, but it made me like so nostalgic because it had animes. Because obviously, like every year or so, there'll be like an anime that like everybody watches.
Yeah, like Attack on Titan.
And before that it was
Sword Art Online.
Before that was Sword Art Online. Before that it was like Death Note, and before that it was like Chobits or something, and before that it was like Excel Saga and stuff like that. And more recently, Evangelion. And then more recently, it was like One Punch Man has been like the one that everybody watches. And it just goes through cycles for those who aren't aware of this sort of thing. And obviously, at the time of when AMV Hell was made, it was like right in the wheelhouse of all that stuff. And like I never watched a lot of it because back then I was like living in the country. I had like dial-up. I could never download all that sort of stuff.
You only watched Bubblegum Crisis on
SBS. Yes. I did watch Bubblegum Crisis on SBS.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, geez, yeah. I never watched Chobits. I never watched all that sort of stuff. So I went hunting for it because there's no way you can buy it anywhere these days. It's like...
So you've been on like a nostalgic anime kick.
Yeah. To the extent that I've been trying to find them. I haven't been like doing great in watching them because I've been busy moving. But yeah, like, so I found Chobits and like Negima and Evangelion and stuff like that. And I've just downloaded them. I got copies of them now. So,
well, if you want to borrow any of my DVDs, you're more than welcome.
Do you have all that old stuff?
Well, not all the old stuff.
Well, do you have like that old stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
from that like early 2000.
It's like right in the wheelhouse when we first got exposed to like anime and stuff like that.
Like and when anime became popular, but before BitTorrent took over.
That's true.
I bought so many DVDs.
But if it's not like super duper popular, like Evangelion, so easy to get a hold of a copy of because get a hold of a copy of is what I just said then. Get a hold of a copy because people still really like it. It's still really popular. But like there was this anime called Excel Saga.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yeah. I think I've got the DVDs.
It's a comedy anime.
It's so stupid.
It's ridiculously stupid. But it's very humorous in its stupidity. And I never got to watch it. And it does not exist fucking anywhere online. And it's been driving me crazy trying to hunt down a copy of this. So this is going to be... I don't know, this is not really relevant to anybody at this point in my life. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Is I've been trying to hunt down that.
Well, I have some good news and some bad news.
What's this good news and
bad news? Because I think I have the first 5 DVDs, but not the 6th.
Not the 6th?
So you would not be able to see the conclusion.
But yeah, Evangelion I've seen before.
Yeah.
But that's fucking weird anime. I don't know whether I want to go down that rabbit hole again.
Have you seen Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, I love Cowboy Bebop.
Have you seen Trigun?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's like I've seen a lot of the staples.
Right.
Like I've seen Evangelion.
Yeah.
So I've seen all like the major ones. that everybody who loves anime should watch because they're just magnificent. But like Chobits was like more of a girl anime. The anime for girls.
I thought it was for like perverted guys who wanted like a robot they could command.
Alright, well, for those who don't understand, Chobits is a story all about these persicoms, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
Where there's these like, they're basically robot ladies who are like computers, personal assistants, like maids, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's this country bumpkin guy who goes into Tokyo to try and get into college. And he's like, oh man, I really want a persicom, because everybody's got them and they're so awesome, to like browse the internet and online shopping and look at porn sites. It'll be great. And then he finds one in the garbage, sorry.
Yeah.
And then she's just like this mysterious persicom who can only say like chi. That's all she says.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And there's a whole big mystery and all that sort of stuff. And I always sort of pegged it as a girly anime because it was about these lady robots who were like dressed up in maid outfits and stuff like that. But, you know, and it never really appealed to me because I was like, yeah, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop,
yeah,
you know, blowing stuff up. Yeah. A Full Metal Jacket and stuff like that.
Full Metal Jacket?
Full Metal Jacket, yeah.
Isn't that like old war movie?
No, well, probably.
Do you remember Full Metal Alchemist?
No. There's an anime called Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's called that. Full Metal something.
Full Metal Alchemist?
No, no. There's two. Okay.
Right.
Also, Full Metal Alchemist.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it was one of the ones that everybody watched.
I think I actually cried at one point.
What? Which point?
When Hughes got killed.
Was he the guy with the glasses? He was always
talking about his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a very sad moment.
That fucking destroyed me.
Yeah. But that's been my sort of... Been doing a lot of moving, but in the background at night and stuff. I've been very busy, like, trying to hunt down these old anime so I can, like, nostalgia binge on them. I
might be remembering incorrectly, but where is the on-off switch for a...
Oh, it's the clitoris. Yeah. The on-off switch for a persicom is the vagina, yeah.
Robot that looks like a girl?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Which it doesn't make...
wanted to clarify.
Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because she's got, like, these big sort of robot ear things, like these big things, metal things that stick out of her head, which mark her as...
You could easily put
an on-off switch right there. And the guy, like, the very early plot goes into, like, oh, this is, like, such a custom-made model, nobody knows what it is or anything like that.
But you could definitely fuck it.
I don't know about that. But, if it's a custom-made model, somebody was like, where can I put the on-off switch? The clitoris. There you go.
Full Metal Panic?
That's what I'm thinking of. Full Metal Panic. Thank you.
I'm sure Full Metal Jacket is
It's a war
Kubrick movie, I think.
Which has got the guy from Daredevil, Season 1 in it.
Which one?
He's Wilson Fisk.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he's in Full Metal Jacket.
Let's find out if you're right.
I will put $10 on him being...
I will not bet that. He plays Pudgy Private Lawrence.
Yeah, see, I told you, man.
Nicknamed Gomer Pyle.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Well, you know, he's an actor, so it's not that surprising.
He is an actor.
A pretty good one, too.
Yeah, he's freaking great in Daredevil.
He is. He's alright. Yeah, what else have you been up to this week, Russell? Much of anything? It seems to be like a real downtime for
Well, I have been playing a game quite a lot, but it feels odd to talk about.
Is it Street Fighter?
No, on a, up to the minute on the pulse.
Russell, I just spent 10 minutes talking about fucking Chobits.
Yeah, that makes me feel a little better. I have been playing Civilization 5.
Isn't that the latest one?
Yeah. It still came out like 4 years ago.
Alright, well, fucking whatever, who cares? Russell, in case you haven't noticed, we don't exactly do this for, like, up-to-date current information. We just talk about whatever the fuck we did for the last week. If people like that, they can watch it. If they don't like it, they can fuck off.
Well, don't fuck off. I mean, keep listening and get all your friends.
Keep listening, but be aware that if you are upset that we're not talking about the latest in pop culture news...
We can't help you.
I can't help you, yeah. That's not what we're about.
No. Anyway, I've played all of the Civilization games since number 2.
I can never get into them. They're just so dragged out and long. Oh, I guess I'll go have a quick game of Civ. 4 hours later.
At least.
At least.
It helps that I have a strong interest in history, so...
But it's not exactly, like, historically accurate.
No, but it, like, hits the, like, historical key points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it goes through different ages, and even though, like, you know, I was playing as Japan and I built the pyramids.
Yeah.
Like, obviously that is not historically accurate, but you get a sense of the pyramids and other wonders of the world and other technologies and what sort of impact they might have had on...
I actually read something rather interesting about the wonders of the world.
Yeah.
That the period in which they all existed at the same time was like 20 years. It was like such a small amount of time before like one of them got destroyed, before, you know, one of them, the final one got built.
Yeah.
And then like 10 to 20 years later, the next one got destroyed. One of them got busted up, like the Gardens of Babylon or whatever.
Yeah.
Got destroyed or something.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
But one of the...
Whether that's absolute bullshit or not, I can't tell you. That's just something I read.
Oh, it could be true. I don't know. But the Egyptian Empire, before it got conquered by Rome, had
they're around
existed for
fucking
thousands
ages.
of years.
Yeah. They're like one of the oldest still existing civilizations, aren't they?
Well, it's arguable whether they still exist as a distinct civilization or not.
I suppose. They had a real good record.
Yes,
record.
They did.
I can't talk tonight. Record.
No. Anyway, back on to the topic, kind of. The original release of Civ 5, I sort of bounced off because they had made changes to the game that
your
I didn't
precious game.
I don't mind when they make changes, it's just I didn't like the particular changes they'd made. Because it used to be that the best thing to do was always to build more cities. Because the more cities you have, the more resources you get, the more technology you can research, the more units you can build, and so on.
Makes sense, I guess, yeah.
But they introduced harsh penalties for building too many cities in Civ 5.
Why would they do that?
Because...
Was it like spread your army too thin or something?
No, it's just like you have like a happiness rating in your empire, and if your citizens are unhappy, then it becomes difficult.
Why would they
to
not
govern.
be happy that there's more room for people?
Well, it's...
This
they've
doesn't
changed
seem
it in
realistic.
Civ 5 to... It's not for reasons of realism. It's in order to make the game more fun. But because I wasn't used to that, I didn't find it fun. I just found it irritating that I couldn't build more cities.
You couldn't spam your way through games.
But the reason it's meant to be more fun that way is because when you have like 50 cities or whatever, every turn takes forever because you have to go through 50 cities which are all building different things and researching different stuff, and you have to adjust all of your citizens' tasks.
Sounds fucking fascinating.
It's really tedious. In the end of Civ 2, like it became like whack-a-mole because they introduced pollution.
Mm-hmm.
And so your cities would constantly produce pollution. But that was okay because you had engineers walking around just cleaning up the pollution. But all that involved was clicking on a space and then clicking the clean up button and then waiting. So the end game was just... Because nobody would ever fight a war because there was nukes.
Did you ever read about that guy who played like a...
Oh, who ran like a million turns into the future?
Yeah, he just played for like 2 years, one game.
Yeah.
And it's like every turn was someone developing a nuke and then nuking someone.
The whole world's like a nuclear waste.
It was just, there was no resources left except for the ability to produce nukes and then lob nukes at the opposing party. And they were just locked in like a constant state of destruction
spiral.
and death. Yeah.
That was a good read.
That was very interesting, yes.
Anyway, since the vanilla game came out, they've released 2 expansions and a number of small bits of DLC, which I hadn't played with before until just this week. And they've added so much to the game that I really like it now.
Okay.
So you can just build your few cities, but there's so many interesting things going on because they've added like tourism and espionage and...
Nukes.
No, they already had nukes.
They already
always
had
got nukes. There's always a nuke option.
Alright.
And ideologies and like World Congress, which changes up the diplomacy a lot. I can tell you're fascinated by all this.
No, I'm fucking bored shitless.
But instead of just moving your workers around and telling your cities to each build, one more of whatever.
When you try to nuke an opposing city, does like it run a simulation and then say an interesting game, the only winning move is to not play?
I don't believe so.
That's a missed opportunity.
Although every time you research a new technology or build a wonder, it reads out like a famous historical quote about.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Well, I haven't got to like space robots yet. When I do, it may say that.
Did you even get the reference I made with a fascinating game? The only winning move is to not play.
Yeah,
Did
it's
you get
from
this one?
War Games.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You looked at me blankly when I said it, and I was like, "Does Russell?" Oh, I got the next.
No,
review.
that look was me like going on standby mode, waiting for you to get to the end of what I knew you were going to say.
All right, well, fuck. It's not like a snappy quote, Russell. You gotta like build it up to it.
You do. So that's what's been filling my leisure time this week.
Sounds super interesting.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're having fun.
Yeah.
I could never get into those games. I mean, like, the closest one I ever got to playing really was, like, probably Age of Empires.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and even then I got to, like, Age of Mythology. And I was like, this is fucking boring gods shit. Fuck off. I want...
Boring god shit.
Boring god shit, yeah. You know, Age of Empires 2, I played
you love
a
your
lot.
mythology.
I do, but it was all, like Greek and Egyptian mythology and stuff like that.
Not Vikings.
I guess so, but it wasn't the same because I was used to playing Age of Empires 2, where it was just like dudes punching dudes and cutting dudes up and stuff like that. And all of a sudden it was like, go discover the gods and go get Thor's lightning bolt. So that's not what I mean. That's not what I'm here for, mate.
I think it was the original Age of Empires, there's a cheat code where you could get like a Lamborghini with a rocket
It's a
launcher
Mustang,
on it.
yeah. It's like a Mustang. It was at Age of Empires 2.
Okay.
Yeah. You get
This
like
is a
a
long
cool
time.
Mustang, like driving around the
Yeah, it
map.
was so good.
Yeah.
You'd do it in multiplayer games and people were like, how did you do that?
Yeah. We used to play LANs, a couple of mates of mine, and every now and then we'd play Age of Empires.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always banned from playing Age of Empires because I always took the turtle strategy, which is
God.
don't annoy anybody, don't attack anybody,
Yeah,
just build up
walls
resources,
and
build
castles.
walls and walls and walls and walls and castles.
And make the game take forever.
Yeah. I always got second place, Russell. I was always second place.
Because they couldn't be bothered killing you.
Yeah, they killed each other, and then they're like, now I gotta go kill Allan. I was like, I'm in my little corner of the map. You can't touch me.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So I was not the fan favorite to
Playing for second.
I played for second place. That's all I ever played for. All right, we got a couple of things we need to touch on before we move on to other segments and stuff like that.
Other segments.
Other
We have one other segment.
Singular segment. We got to talk about a book club.
Okay.
Because we've been slacking off on it. We've done it once.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like, you were gone, and then you were back, and we didn't do it the first week you came back, and then so on and so forth. So we got to decide what we're going to do. Now, you weren't on the podcast when I suggested this, but we discussed it briefly.
Mm-hmm.
That I think our book club should be books that have been turned into movies. Because I think a large part of the fascination of when we reviewed The Martian was that, you know, there was like a whole... I've seen the movie and then read the book. You read the book and saw the movie. Except you didn't see the movie because you're a piece of shit.
I've got it somewhere.
It's a great movie. You should really watch it.
Yeah, I will.
But that was like added a whole nother layer of like interpretation to it and made it more like pop culture-y.
Yeah.
So that's my suggestion. I think that we should review books that have been turned into movies.
I think that's fair.
And not movies that have been turned into books, because that can go fuck itself.
Novelizations only.
The only good novelization of a movie I've ever read was Jurassic Park.
That was a book before it was a movie.
Was it a movie? Oh, then I love the book.
Maybe there was a novelization of the movie of the book.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but Michael Crichton book, I think.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
No wonder pretty much every movie after the first one is garbage.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
It's like, yes, they were garbage. Point well made.
Yes.
So, you had a suggestion for a book.
I did, yeah. It was on my to-read list already, which is a very long list that I never get around to.
That's true. Our book lists are very different. You have a list of books you'd like to read.
Yeah.
I have a wish list on Book Depository of all the books I'm eventually going to buy.
Oh, okay. Well, half the books on my to-read list are books I already own that I haven't got around to read. Including this one, which is Stardust by Neil Gaiman.
Which to me sounds like a 1980s B-grade sci-fi movie.
Wow, you're in for a surprise. Actually, it ties into our forced review this week because...
It's about a guy who is blind but can see.
No.
Okay.
The main character in the film version is played by Charlie Cox, who
I don't know
is
who that is.
Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
Daredevil.
How long ago was this movie made?
I don't know, 10 years?
Christ, he must be bloody 5 years old in the movie.
Oh, he's a young man.
Alright.
Yeah.
Speaking of, quick aside,
Mm-hmm.
my god, Daredevil's got, like, plump and luscious lips. Did you pick up on that while you were watching it? He's got very bright red lips
No,
throughout
not
the entire
specifically.
movie. It was weirded me out.
I mean, he's a handsome man, but...
He is a handsome man. He's just got weird lips.
Has he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out. You trust me.
I'll have to go back
He's got
and
weird lips.
have another look.
Should we just leave it at that? Do we want to like not tell what the movie's about or anything like that? Because I've never even heard of it before. So, do you want to like give a brief plot synopsis or what?
No, it's kind of like a...
Give us a genre at least.
It's a fantasy.
So
It's like a fairy tale.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. As long as
There's
it's
witches and, you know, an evil prince and stuff like
evil prince.
Yeah.
Usually they're the good guys.
that. Yeah.
Really turning genres on their head here.
Yeah. It was written by Neil Gaiman, who's quite a creative.
Yeah,
sort
he
of
wrote
guy.
Good Omens as well with Terry
With
Pratchett.
Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, he's a comedy writer for the most part.
No, I don't know about that.
He's written a lot of good comedy books. Comedy movie books.
Comedy movie books. There's quite a lot of comedy in the movie, so I
Fair
assume
enough.
that
Yeah.
it's
All right.
present in the book.
Well,
as
I will both read the book and then watch the movie, I think.
Okay. I can loan you the
do you want
Blu-ray
to?
if you want.
Do you want to? You've seen the movie,
Yes.
and you're going to read the book.
Yeah.
All right, I will read the book then watch the movie. How about
Okay.
that?
Sounds good.
We got a bit of contrasting opinion
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So yeah, all right, that was quickly resolved.
Well, that's good.
I expected that to take a little bit longer.
These people have got, they've got to get on with their day. Other
I guess.
podcasts to listen to.
Yeah, that's true. And not everybody's you. Not everybody has 20 podcasts they listen to.
There's a new Hardcore History out. I'm listening to it at the moment.
Oh, is that your stupid history podcast that goes for like 5 hours?
Yeah, it's the best podcast.
Why doesn't he just do 5 1-hour segments?
I don't know.
It just seems like that's a real, like, if I was into history, well, tell everybody what it's about. So I know what it's about because you've gone on about it before to me. It's the podcast. What's the podcast about?
Well, it's just a guy telling you stuff.
Is it just him? Does he have
history.
guests?
No.
God, that sounds fucking... This is just a dude monologuing for 5 hours?
Basically, yeah, but he's telling a story of something historical.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it's about the Persian Empire, which, if you've seen the movie 300, they were the bad guys.
They were the bad guys.
Yeah.
Are they actually the bad guys, though? Is history unfair? Was it written by the winners?
Well, yeah. Well, the histories we have are written by the Greeks, who were the good guys in 300. So you can understand why they might have characterized the Persians as the bad guys.
Fair enough. Quite like 300, though. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Second
Apparently
one.
the second one not
See, it
so
was
good.
fucking terrible.
I haven't seen it. Which is possibly a dangerous thing to admit.
No, not even I would subject you to the fucking awfulness of Rise of an Empire.
Because you don't even ever want to think about it again.
No, not really. I could make you watch it, though. I have seen it. I was going to say something, but I've forgotten now. That's annoying.
You said there were two things, one of which was the book club.
No, I was going to say... What's going to be annoying is that I was going to have like a very salient point about something, and then you said something else, and now we've gone off onto a tangent. Now I can't remember what it is. But when I'm editing the podcast,
you
I'm
can
listening
totally
back
fit
to
it back in
it.
later.
I'll go back through the same mental steps, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's what I was going to talk about."
Yeah.
But it'll be too fucking late.
No, you can totally edit it in.
God, dude, just like cut up your words for the responses. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. The
Here,
only
I'll help you out. The and fortitude.
and the fortitude will be your answer for everything. Yes. No, the other thing we're going to talk about is our fitness challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not something either of us are looking forward to talking about.
No.
But I have a little story about it.
Oh, okay. Is this about the drug story?
The drug story? What are you
You
talking
said
about?
to remind you to tell the drug story.
No, that's a different thing. I'll tell that in a minute. And it's not
Story time with
it's
Uncle
not the
Allan.
drug story. Russell, you know I have funny stories.
You do have funny
and you
stories.
never let me tell them on the podcast.
You can tell them. on the
All
podcast.
right, well, fair enough. No. The story is that I did the 7-minute workout.
Yes, didn't you tell the story last
I
time?
believe I told it on the podcast, and I was very sore.
Yes.
And I
You're
waited.
still sore. A week later. You can't move.
Yeah, I've actually been carrying me around all day, so it's been very helpful.
In a papoose.
Just like Yoda and Luke Skywalker. That's a very humorous image, seeing as how I'm bigger than you are.
Yeah.
No, I
Luke's
went back.
pretty buff in that movie.
He is, yeah. Well, he had to be.
Yeah.
You do some sweet flips all around the swamp.
With a little puppet on your back.
A little puppet on your back, yeah. And a little guy, I assume, on the back operating the puppet as well, below him. Anyway. No. I went back and I did it again.
Okay.
The 7-minute exercise. So I've been back to the thing. And I took it so much easier this time. Because I was like...
Say, back for more.
The only winning move is to not play. No. I spoke to my girlfriend about it. And I was like, I'm in so much pain. And I knew I'd be having to move this weekend. So I didn't want to go too hard. Yeah. She was like, yeah, I did it. Just take it easy. Like, don't power your way through it. So the first time I did it, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I just did it as hard as I could. And like the next day I was like, I'm in agony. So I went back and I just was like, it's about 15 seconds of push-ups. That's good enough. And
so it just gives you a time amount and then it doesn't...
It'll go like this. It'll go, get ready. And then it'll count down to like 10 seconds as the beginning. And then it'll be like 30 seconds of jumping jacks.
But that could be one very slow jumping jack?
I mean, the rate pace you set is up to you.
Okay. So it's a you're only cheating yourself sort of situation.
Yes.
Okay.
And then like it'll go like halfway when you're like 15 seconds in.
Yeah.
Which when you're doing like right at the end, when you're doing like planks and stuff, and it's like halfway, I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself. I just want it to be over. And stuff like that. But then it'll be like, okay, take a break. And it'll be like a 10-second break. And then it'll start you on the next one. Which 10 seconds seems like a long time when you've just done, it's a third of what you just did.
Yeah.
But go fuck yourself one more time. But yeah, so I've done that once or twice since then.
That's interesting, before you tell your story, because I use an app called Freeletics, which
is much more brutal from what you've told me.
Yeah, well, it gives you similar sort of workouts, but rather than give you, do push-ups for a minute or something, it'll say do 20 push-ups. And you are meant to do them as quickly as you can while maintaining proper form. And so you're always encouraged to go as fast as possible.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it's quite difficult.
Especially
when it's like, do 50 burpees. And you're like, oh, dear God.
Like,
this is going to take me at least 15 minutes.
Can you, just stand there and flip it off and then just not do it?
Oh, you can do what you like. You could set up a lawn chair and just drink mojitos if you want to.
Did you hear about... This is complete aside. I read an interesting article about this skin condition you can get. Whereas if you put lime juice on your skin and go out into the sun, your skin can get, burned, right? But then, discoloration will stay wherever, the outline of the lime juice was for, years afterwards.
Doesn't sound pleasant.
No, it's not pleasant. There's something to do with the acid or the citrus in the lime juice itself, and it's called margarita dermatitis.
Really?
Because people get it from making margaritas out in the sun
and getting juice on
their hands, and they get sunburnt, and then they get this dermatitis stuff on their hands and discoloration for years afterwards.
The more you know.
And I was like, that's so interesting. And you just gave me a great way of sliding it into the podcast.
Yeah, you've been waiting for 25 shows to get
It's been really weighing on my mind.
Yeah. Anyway, back to story A.
Okay, well, it's just that I've been doing it, and I've been slacking off because I've been moving, so I haven't really had time or energy to do it. But,
right.
I've been doing something, which is better than nothing.
I've been stepping up my jogging campaign.
You bought some tights. You bought some tight
I got
pants.
some men's tights. Or spats, as I've been told.
Aren't spats the things that dapper men in the 50s?
Traditionally, they're little skirts for your ankles.
Yeah.
To keep shit off your shoes.
Off your shoes, yeah.
But apparently in the...
It's hey, don't go stepping on my spats, Sonny Jim.
In the jiu-jitsu community, spats are tights.
Well, yeah, but you're not doing jiu-jitsu.
No.
You're running.
But still, spats sounds better than men's tights.
It really doesn't.
I do like gights.
Do you have the tights on, then your shorts on over that?
Yeah.
That's every now and then I see one of those guys running around the streets. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, if you don't have the shorts on, then it's just dick bulging out everywhere.
I guess so. It just seems weird that you got these tight pants on, and then like these shorts just flapping about on top of them while you're running along.
It doesn't look so bad. It's
I'll
pretty
take
comfortable.
I'll take your word on it.
So
it is getting colder.
They're meant to, hopefully, by keeping my muscles warmer, stop them from hurting so much the following day.
Is it also like a compression thing, maybe?
Yeah. Well, supposedly. The evidence is inconclusive. So I'm not sure of the actual benefits.
Running is the worst, and I hate it. And
Running is the worst.
And I never want to do it.
But it's getting to be less of the worst because I've been doing it quite a lot.
Okay. I could never get into it, much to my chagrin. You know, I've always wanted to be that guy run a marathon, you know? But it's like, oh, if you just do it, you get good at it. Yeah, but there's like 6 months of being shit at it beforehand.
Well, Gav, formerly of this parish, was... he was, doing 10k runs quite frequently. And now he has amped that up and he has run 20k's in one stint. Both the last 2 weekends, I think.
That guy's gonna like have no legs because they're gonna explode.
Or like just get ground down to little nubs.
How has his like joints not killed him?
Well, he's only little. He doesn't have a lot of weight.
Yes, I guess that, but there's still a lot of impact damage. But yeah, that's all I really had to talk about that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's fly through story time because this podcast has gone long.
The story that you've alluded to, and now I have to tell,
the drug story,
is not what it sounds like me being involved with drugs.
It's just the plot to Narcos.
Who would have thought? It's Breaking Bad, Australia style. No. When my girlfriend and I found the place we're moving into, which is about 5 minutes away from where I currently live, driving time, we were driving over there, and we saw this. One of my favorite things is being like the passenger in a car, because I'm so rarely the passenger in any vehicle.
Favorite things?
I'm always driving at work and all over the place. But then I get to like look at people and stuff while I'm driving around, which you don't get to do when you're driving around. And I like spotted this woman, and at first it was this woman who just had like her shirt up like around her underarms, and she was a fair way off. And I was like, my God, that woman's got like fucking sick abs.
Oh, right. So she was wearing like a crop top, or? No,
she just had a normal shirt, but she had it pulled up.
Okay.
And it looked like she was like having trouble putting her pants on and keeping them up and stuff like that. So I was like, I was fascinated by this. I was like, what is up? What is going on with this woman?
Fascinated by this woman who was like barely even clothed.
She was a fair distance away, so I couldn't really make her out. But all I saw was like this woman who was like seemed to be constantly taking her pants halfway down to her ankles, and she had like boy shorts on, so it wasn't like in her underpants or anything like that.
Isn't that what boy shorts are?
Well, yes, but it's not like she was wearing it. It's not like she was wearing a G-string, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And she was like pulling them up, and she was like fucking around with a belt, and then she'd take them off, put it back. She just seemed to be, and the shirt every now and then, like the shirt would just fall down because it was too big for her as well. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is the deal with this woman? It's driving me crazy. We got closer, and it was at that point that I realized that she was on so many drugs.
Right.
The reason why she looked like she had like a six-pack or whatever, sick abs or whatever, it's because she was like fucking emaciated. She was like so skinny that she was like fucking tweaked out on drugs, and she was like had a rough life.
Yes.
This woman, and I was fascinated by this, and like looking behind while we were driving past, like what if she's like she's just walking across the road with like her pants halfway down her ankles and stuff like that, and I was like, what is going on? This is so interesting.
Jeez.
And that would have been the end of it, except when I've been doing a lot of trips up to the new place to empty this place out, because I'm not at work at the moment, because I took some time off to move.
Found her sitting in your doorway.
No, but my girlfriend was like, after I pointed her out to him, she was like, oh no, she's like walking from the direction of the new house, what if she's like, blah blah blah. And I was like, that's whatever, don't worry about it, it's a main street, that's where she's from. And I was driving up there today, and I saw her again. And it was like welcoming an old friend into my life, because I was like, oh, this is so interesting, it's this woman again.
Had she managed to get her pants situation sorted out?
The reason why this is so interesting is that when I saw her, she had found a pair of pants.
Hooray!
I don't know where she found them, but she had a pair of pants, and she was just changing her pants in the middle of the road. She was just like taking one pair of pants off and putting these other pants on. And she was having a dickens of a time, like figuring out how to put her pants on. Because she was on drugs of some variety. But it was just fascinating to me. Because I've never been like a drug addict or anything like that.
No,
So,
I know.
It was just like it was a glimpse into another world.
It was.
And it was very interesting to me.
Have you watched Breaking Bad?
No, I haven't. I keep meaning to,
You
but I
might
never
like
do.
it.
Yeah.
It features a lot of...
Drug addicts.
Yes.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my story. That's my drug addict story.
I see.
I could tell the story of the sassy old lady, if you wanted me to.
Well, maybe we'll save that for next
I think now I have to. I've brought it up.
time. This is part of your plan all along.
My plan all along. Well, now that I have told you a story about a crazy drugged up lady in my local neighborhood,
Yes.
why don't we move on to the story of a show that involves a lot of bad guys who sell drugs. Yeah, there's a bit of a link there. And we're going on to the Force review. Force review is a segment in which week about we force the other person to watch or read something that they have not.
Or play.
Every week you're gonna like find something you can niggle about my intro to
That's
it.
part of the segment.
Ah, get out of here. And last week you gave me the daunting, largest theoretical review we have had, Forced-wise.
Well, that's not quite true.
Yes, it
The
is.
snow crash would have taken essentially infinite amount of time.
It's still taking. The clock's still ticking on that one, Russell.
Yeah.
Of Daredevil season 2.
In Baldur's Gate, if you had finished it, would have taken far longer than Daredevil season 2.
I wonder how what the record is speed running the main storyline of Baldur's Gate.
I don't know. The suggested playtime is like 60 hours.
Well, yes, but I guarantee you can power through the main plot
Yeah, probably.
in like speedrunner probably it's like an hour and a half probably. But yeah, Daredevil season 2 you gave me,
Yes.
and I was not confident that I was going to be able to do it because
But you had watched Daredevil season 1, so
I said I had. Yes.
you could have at least got a few episodes.
Now, when I said that I'd seen Daredevil season 1,
Yeah.
I thought I had. But then I went back. I knew I had in my head, I had I got like 2 episodes to go before the end of it.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And we obviously don't live together at the time we were watching it. So it was like a real sporadic thing when we'd get time to sit down and watch it together.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, we've watched a bunch of episodes. I got like 2, maybe 3 at the most to go. No, I had 7. I had 7 episodes of Daredevil season 1 to go before I could start watching Daredevil season 2.
Yes.
At the time of which I am moving house
Yes.
and trying to set everything up and all that sort of nonsense.
I thought it would have been alright in season 2 because there are like distinct arcs, and if you could have at least got like the first one out of the way, we could have talked about that.
Okay, well, instead of that, I finished watching Daredevil season 1
Yes.
this afternoon.
Right.
At 2:30 this afternoon, I finished watching Daredevil season 1.
Let's take a trip down my memory lane then and talk about Daredevil season 1.
I guess so, yeah. I mean...
Well, otherwise we just go da-da-da-da-da-da.
The end. Alright, well, I can't talk. I just don't want... I feel like I've failed, Russell. And I knew I was never going to finish Daredevil season 2.
Yes.
I was hoping to at least crack into it before we got to this point, but I just did not have the time.
Well, there's no sugarcoating it.
I fucked up.
Definitely failed.
Yeah, I shat the bed here, Russell.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to live with that and move on.
Yeah.
But it would not be the first time that one of us has not finished a Force review, such as Snow Crash, which was also me,
Or Psychonauts, which is
and Psychonauts, which is you. So there's precedence here for this.
Really, we're just a bunch of quitters.
We're just a bunch of chumps.
Yeah.
Who set lofty goals and do not
try
meet
to
them.
achieve them.
Don't put next to zero effort in.
Yeah.
No, but I did. I knuckled down and I got through essentially 7 hours worth of material.
7 episodes in a week is still pretty good.
So that's all fresh in my mind, and we can talk about that if you want. We can talk about it briefly.
Well,
what would you like to talk about? Well, as someone who has seen both seasons of the show, and probably knows next to nothing about Daredevil as a Marvel character.
yes.
Do you have questions? Do you have questions about it? Because I know a shit ton about Daredevil himself.
My favourite part of the first season was Wilson Fisk as the
Yes.
villain.
The Kingpin.
Yeah.
As he's known as.
Yeah, because he's quite a complex character.
He's got a lot of layers to him, yeah.
Yeah, and they make him, well, not quite sympathetic because he
kills
evil
people.
shit. Yeah.
Spoilers for Daredevil season 1 here, by the way.
But, you see where he came from and what he might be trying to do.
To my knowledge, his backstory in the show is quite similar to that in the comics.
Right.
There's not a lot of difference there. He is not seen as such a sympathetic character in the comic books as he is portrayed in the show.
He's also a villain for other characters like Spider-Man and stuff.
He started out as a villain for Spider-Man.
Right.
And then Daredevil was just like, that seems like a good villain. And then they took him. And then he became Daredevil's main bad guy.
This guy's way too underpowered to fight Spider-Man. I'll take him on.
Yes, sure. But wait, Wilson Fisk is actually, Kingpin is actually quite the powerhouse.
Oh, yeah?
In the comic books. He's big, and he's not fat. He's fat. But he's really big and really strong. He's not like superhuman level strong, but he's like sumo strong,
Yeah, there's a few times in the show where like his facade of calm breaks down.
And he gets angry.
Yeah.
He's got anger issues.
Yeah. And when that happens, his like terrifying size and strength sort of comes to the fore.
Starts throwing people around and cracking skulls. Yeah.
It's quite impressive to see.
Yeah. And as for Daredevil himself, the guy who plays him, whose name you probably know.
Charlie Cox.
There you go.
He's also in Boardwalk Empire as an Irish hitman.
He is Daredevil, otherwise known as Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
And Daredevil is known as the man without fear. That's like his whole shtick.
Yeah.
That he's not afraid of anything. I
thought his whole shtick was that he's blind but can still do kung fu.
Also that.
Right.
He's blind but he can see is his superpower, yes. But he's also he's fearless, which is what makes everybody so scared of him. He's like, oh, what are you going to do? How are you going to scare a guy?
That doesn't really seem like a unique power though. Like it's not like Wolverine or like any of those guys are whimpering and running in terror.
Yes, but it's more along the fact that he's he doesn't leaps before he looks,
Right.
In that aspect. Now, and I'm not an expert on Daredevil, but I do know a moderate bit about him because he's been in quite a few of the comic books that I've read.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So yeah, he's known as the man without fear, which is what makes the criminal underground so scared of him.
Yeah.
Because they shoot at him and he's just like, fucking whatever, I dodge those bullets. Yes.
Because he hears them and then he dodges.
Yes, he's got very good reflexes.
Yes.
But yeah, so they didn't really touch on that in the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really ever shown as being scared of anything, I suppose, but he's also not shown as being utterly fearless and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so for the most part, the character is pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely better than was it not Matt Damon?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
One? Yeah.
Ben Affleck movie.
Which I haven't seen, but I've heard it's not very good.
It's not the best. It's not the worst. He never does a bad job at playing a superhero. He's not a bad actor.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
No.
He's not a bad actor. He's
sometimes
just given
in bad movies.
He's just in bad movies a lot.
Yeah.
He's given shitty scripts.
Like John Travolta. John Travolta's a good actor, but he's often in terrible movies.
What would you say? The last good movie I know of him being in would be Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, probably.
And that was 30 years ago.
Well, there's Broken Arrow. That was hilarious.
I've never watched that, actually.
Was he in Face Off?
He was in Face Off. Right? He was good in Face Off.
God, I love Face Off.
It's a great movie. Especially when they have to switch personalities as actors.
That's great.
It was really well done. Anyway, that's not about Daredevil season 1.
That's not about Daredevil.
I think it got really rushed at the end. Because everything is fucked. Everything is shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to solve all these problems? And then literally in the last episode, all of our problems have been solved.
Daredevil was like, I'll just beat the fuck out of the Kingpin.
Yes. But literally in the last episode, he's still wearing his stuff he bought on indie internet garb.
Yeah.
And all of the problems seem to be solved. 3/4 of the way into the last episode. But at the end of the previous episode, they're like, man, we got no idea what the fuck we're going to do here. And then in the span of 40 minutes, they're like, oh, there's a guy who's still alive. Oh, okay, we'll get him to testify. Okay, everybody's testified. Now Wilson Fisk is going to jail.
Yeah.
You know, it just felt like they tied. It was almost like they got the notice. It's like somebody called them up and was like, man, at episode 11, and you know, shit, man, you guys are only getting 2 more episodes. They're like, fucking what?
We're going to tie all this up.
We're going to tie all this shit up in 2 episodes? Fuck.
Well, interestingly, and I'm not going to spoil anything from the second season here, but I did feel that the ending of the season was the weakest part of it. Because there were a lot of things that were tied up too neatly.
Yeah, it seems like they weren't expecting to get a season 2, which is something that you said when we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, well, I think that they were not sure how successful it was going to be.
And I think do you think like that's the same thing that happened? They were like, well, you're not getting a 3rd season.
No, I think they, with the second season, they were definitely sure that they were going to go on to do more of it, because they've got the Defenders coming up, and then all these other shows like Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
That's true, yes.
So they know there's more coming. Daredevil season 1 was like the testing the waters kind of thing.
Did Daredevil 2 come out before Jessica Jones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Season 2, and we'll talk about it more after you've watched it, whenever that happens to be.
I'll do my best to get it knocked out next week.
Okay. The problem there was that they had too many elements in the mix.
There's too many cooks? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what you're trying to say. Was there too many...
Too many major characters and plot lines.
Because I know that the Punisher plays a major role in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know anyone else who might be in it?
No. That's all I've heard.
Well, then I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. But judging by what you said, there's going to be more superheroes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or at least
you said
named comic book characters.
You said the Defenders, so I know who they are.
Yeah. I, as a non-comic book fan, I recognise these characters' names.
Okay.
So, you know.
I'm sure I'll pick up and we can talk about it next week.
Anyway, the problem is that in moving into the second half of the season, they sort of...
It became less about Daredevil?
No, it's all about Daredevil.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck you're complaining about.
They start to focus on one plot line.
Okay.
To the exclusion of the other ones. And then at the end, they sort of go, oh yeah.
There's all that other shit going on.
Yeah, and then they bring them back in and go like, oh, there you go, tie a bow on it, it's done.
Fair enough.
Which was not satisfying to conclude.
I guess so. But I was like frustrated watching Daredevil season 1 because all they did was talk about fucking Wilson Fisk. I was like, there was literally no subplot about him like just stopping crime in general. Like every crime he stopped was like, tell me about Wilson Fisk. I was like, just go punch some muggers or something, you know, give us some context that you're doing other stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was everything was like, oh, who's Wilson Fisk? Who's the Kingpin? Oh, he's Wilson Fisk. Tell me about Wilson Fisk. Give me more info about how we can bring down Wilson Fisk.
It's all killer, man, no filler.
Alright, yeah, you know, I get it that you can, like, you're obsessed with Wilson Fisk because that's Daredevil's jam, you know, he's always trying to bring down the Kingpin of crime. But he does other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he fights, he stops, like, rapists and stuff. And
he does get to do other stuff in
season 2. It's because he's no longer trying to... They shat the bed, basically. They were just like, Wilson Fisk, he's gone. He's out of the picture. He probably comes back in season 2. I don't know.
No, I was going to mention something from when you were saying how he's always going around beating guys up.
Yeah.
And, tell me about Fisk. Where's Fisk? There's a guy who... in one of the most violent sequences at the start of the episode, I think it's episode 3 or something, he like goes to a bowling alley and beats these guys to death with a bowling ball.
That was a great fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, that guy, who's one of Fisk's enforcers, gets cornered and
beaten up by Daredevil. That is the great fight. Yeah.
And he's like, tell me about Fisk. And he's like, no, I can't tell you.
He's like, give me a name. Tell me who the Kingpin of crime is.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, Wilson Fisk.
Yeah, and then he's like, shit. Well, now I'm going to get murdered because I ratted out Fisk.
Yeah.
And then he literally impales his own head on a spike.
Yeah, that was cool.
What did he think was going to happen to him that would be worse than slamming his head on a spike?
Well, that's like instant death.
I guess, but it takes an awful lot of like willpower.
I suppose so, but that guy was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
But I suppose, like, later on in the season, when they're like trying to get someone to torture, trying to punish someone.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're not going to kill you. We're going to kill your family. Then we'll kill your friends. Then we'll kill everyone you know. And then after all that, when you're dead and hollow inside, then we'll kill you. And it's either that or impale yourself on a spike.
But if you impale yourself on a spike, are they still going to forego murdering everyone you love?
Well, if murdering everyone you love was to just punish you, then you're dead, probably.
Yeah, it's about sending a message to the other people. You can't escape us simply by impaling your head on a spike.
Maybe. I don't know. But, smart move if he was afraid of, like, torture and stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, so all in all, it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like they really felt they got... Like, everybody forgot. They thought they had 15 episodes, but they only actually had 13. So they had to, like, go, oh, shit, this is it? This is the last one? All right, wrap it all up.
Quite possibly.
But other than that, very enjoyable. Okay. And now we've got Daredevil in his little outfit.
We do.
Yeah.
It took a little while to get used to the little horns.
The little horns, yeah.
After his cool ninja outfit, they look a bit goofy. But pretty soon in season 2, you just get used to them.
Mm. When they showed the guy who made like the skin armor, like the fabric armor,
that kind of crazy,
creepy, weird guy,
yeah.
The simple guy, he looked like it was, yeah. And the stuff was yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I got very excited because the first outfit that Daredevil ever wore, the colors were like inversed. He wasn't red with like slightly yellow tinges, highlights or whatever. He was yellow with red highlights.
Ah,
that was the original
like reference.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, they're going to give him the yellow suit. But then they didn't. They gave him the red one.
No, the yellow suit would look ridiculous.
No, well, that's what he was when he first started. He was Daredevil. He was in yellow. Yeah. And then later on, they were like, oh, let's make him red, whatever.
Yeah, he's a devil.
Yes. But yeah, so yeah, I enjoyed it. I felt a bit rushed. Because I kept having to watch like a bunch of episodes.
Slam it down fast.
I had to slam it down fast. It was like a solo. Yeah. It was low on the fizz.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wide mouth.
8 horns out of 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Again, it falls under the same category of like every other non-Marvel movie that I watch.
Yeah.
That I'm used to like Civil War, like not Civil War. I'm used to like Captain America 2, where it's like explosions and super awesome, cool fight scenes and
CG, heli carriers,
yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Potomac.
And then it's like, in this episode, Daredevil punches a bunch of dudes.
Yeah,
Although
that uncut hallway fight was really good.
Yeah, do you know what that was a reference to? Yeah.
What do you mean?
The hallway fight where he was like beating up a bunch of kidnappers or whatever. It was a reference.
Well, it could be to anything.
It was a reference to Oldboy.
Well, you could say that.
I do say that.
Okay.
Because that's what it was a reference to.
Okay.
Have you seen Oldboy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah. But it's a very different shot because it's like side on.
Well, yes, but it's a homage.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Okay.
And you're fighting me on it. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know if it is a reference. Did the Daredevil creators say it was?
Sure.
That's what makes it a reference.
Yes, sure they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Okay.
Well, I guarantee it.
Yeah, cool. It's definitely a reference.
Definitely a reference. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else to say about it, unless you got something else you want to bring up.
No, that's fine. It's a bit hazy in my memory, so I'm
Fair enough.
Just amped up for season 2 chat.
Well, now I'm torn, because you told me that the full season 2 of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is out.
Yeah.
But what do I pick? What do I watch?
You could alternate between them. There's
that'd be really
brutal violence.
That'd be real weird. It'd be really weird up and down there.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, you stop raping your daughter or something like that. And it's like, Unbreakable, my God.
They could just introduce the Punisher as a guest character in Kimmy Schmidt. Kimmy has trouble with some young punks in her neighborhood, and Punisher comes through and blasts them with a grenade launcher.
That's true. Yeah, Punisher is actually a very interesting character in Marvel, so I'm interested to see how they portray him.
I think John Bernthal does a good job as the Punisher.
But do you know anything about what the Punisher is supposed to be as a character?
I saw the movie with Tom Jane.
Well, what Punisher does is basically stops crime by killing criminals.
Yeah.
And he then steals money from criminals to fund his what's the word I'm looking for?
One-man war against
crime. Yeah, he'll like go and kill a bunch of drug dealers, but then he'll take their drug money and go use that to buy more ammo and stuff like that, and like kick the shit out of other guys. And he's very tactical, and he's very like, he doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
Like quite often when he like teams up with someone else, they'll be like capture a criminal or something, and the Punisher will be like, all right, pulls out a gun and like tries to shoot the guy in the head to just like kill him, and the other superheroes are like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not what we do. But he's like, just fucking solving the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's no muss, no fuss.
That definitely comes across in the show.
Okay, good.
Anyway, we'll talk more about that maybe next week.
Unless I get
Unbreakable.
You don't even know the words.
No, I don't know the words.
Yes. That is a distinct likelihood that after 7 hours of
You don't want to
bleak
plunge into the muck again.
Oh, there is one thing I want to mention. I completely forgot about it until just now. Is that the filming technique they use on Daredevil annoyed the hell out of me.
What do you mean?
Is that everything's very dark and grimy and grungy, and that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about.
Say grimy?
Grimy.
Yeah. It's like grim.
I feel like the classy thing, Russell, would be not to mention my verbal blunder.
Well, you've made so many, I thought.
That's true. I've been really off my game today. Was that every time they filming anything, the camera's shaking slightly. It just shudders and like moves ever so slightly to like illustrate, I don't know, something.
Movement.
But go back and watch, like, even if you just watch 5 minutes of like one of the situations where everybody's sitting down and talking to each other.
Yeah.
Just watch the camera movement, and it's just in a constant. The guy who was filming had Parkinson's.
Well, even maybe not. Like, it's quite hard to hold a camera steady if you're just using your hands.
No, I guarantee you that it was on purpose.
Right.
No film student has ever gone like, oh man, all this footage we're getting is shaking. Why do we fucking let Jittery Jimmy
Shaky
over there
McGee.
fucking, Shaky Pete hold the camera? No, it's on purpose. I guarantee it. Especially for like a high production.
Oh yeah, they could definitely have used steady cams.
Yeah, it's definitely on purpose. But after I noticed it, couldn't stop noticing it.
I haven't noticed it.
Well, now I fucked
thanks
you.
for ruining Daredevil for me.
Have you watched all of it though?
Yeah.
I mean, you're good. By the
good,
time season 3 comes out, you'll have forgotten all about it. Anyway, so yeah, I think we're good. I think we've covered the bases.
So, for next week's Forced Review,
Mm-hmm.
what's the plan? Are we gonna hold on for you to?
I'm gonna do my best to power through Daredevil season 2, and we can talk about it next week.
So I get a week's respite.
You get a respite, yes.
Excellent.
But next week we're gonna be doing a Force review anyway. We're gonna do a spoiler cast because
Oh yeah, that's right.
actually you do have homework to do, Mister. Because I have asked you to read the main storyline of Civil War in the comic books.
That's gonna be like 9,000 books.
Nah, it's not that many. Just read the main storyline.
Civil War 1, Civil War 2,
Yes.
Civil War 3.
They'll be probably on the app that you.
Yeah, it's got like a Civil War category.
Yeah, just power through it.
Okay.
It's very entertaining reading, at any rate.
Alright.
It's got one of my favourite scenes in it. Which, no, actually might not be in it. It might be tangential to it. But it's very good, and I'll talk about it next week.
What was the one where Iron Man's flying up the side of a skyscraper and then Wolverine jumps out of the building to attack him?
Oh, it could be fucking anything. Probably Civil War.
I just remember seeing like 1 page or 2 pages of it, and I thought that's amazing.
Anyway, if you have enjoyed the podcast, very odd episode though it was, topics-wise, you can go to our website at popculturepon.weebly.com, and you can go there for the eventual blog post that Russell will put up, because you've been slacking off these past couple of weeks.
I had the last week's one ready for Tuesday, but then I ended up playing Civilization and forgot about putting it up.
What a handy excuse. Anyway, you can go there. Russell does probably far better blog posts than I did when he was on holiday, because you put actual effort into it, and it's usually topical and humorous links about the things that we've talked about. And you can email us about whatever forced reviews you'd want to do. I feel like if people started emailing in forced reviews for us to like watch and review as a team, I think we'd be quite happy to tap out giving each other stuff and just go and do that. But yeah, like if people did that, I think we'd swap up the segment to giving each other stuff. I'd be quite happy to do that. Because quite often I can't be fucked deciding what to give you as a force food.
As long as I've got veto rights over what the people give me.
Well, we give us, because we both review it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. If you want to do that, feel free to email us at popculturepon@gmail.com.
Yeah. Or just tell us.
Yeah. And just,
Through the magic of Twitter at popculturepon. Or on Facebook at popculturepon. When I say at popculturepon, I mean facebook.com/popculturepon.
Yeah, come on, do it right. Yeah, feel free to... We're on iTunes as well. If you feel the particular urge, just feel free to jump onto there and give us a review.
I wonder if we've had any reviews.
I don't know, I've never checked, to be honest.
I think I checked in the second week and we hadn't had any. But it's been like 20 weeks since then, so maybe...
It's been 25 weeks since then.
I'm not going to look, though, because...
It's going to be very depressing if there's nothing there. And if you have enjoyed this very odd podcast this week...
She'll be henceforth known as the Moving Cast.
The Moving Cast, yes. I'm a bit burnt out. Feel free to come on back next week for another episode of Popculture Pontification. I'm so tired, Russell. I've been moving a lot this week.
Well, have you got 7 minutes?
Have I got 7 minutes? Yeah.
To do your workout and then you'll be energized.
No, I thought you were like, show me something cool. No, I don't want to do that. I'm fucked. Can't be fucked.
Nothing cool takes 7 minutes.
That Punisher short I showed you was about 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, if you're me, intercourse.
Is 7 minutes a good length?
I don't know. Probably not.